In this video, I want to talk about the one thing that you want to be focusing on rather than on all of these New Year's resolutions. There is one thing you gotta focus on. It is the most simple thing, but at the same time, most people miss this because they do not get the underlying mechanics, the underlying universal laws running the show of their desires. And in this video, I'm gonna teach you exactly what you need to understand about this one thing you gotta be doing in order to actualize your goals and desires this year, in order to actualize your potential, in order to not become that higher version, but just to be the best version of you that you can be. The version of you that is most true, most aligned with your nature, with who you are at your core. Hi everyone, I wish you all a happy new year. We've made it. 2026 is here. So, what to talk about in the first few days of the fresh new year? Let's absolutely not talk about New Year's resolutions. Here's a suggestion for what to do instead that might actually work. I am one of the many people who have struggled following through on New Year's resolutions over and over and over again, beating myself up about it, being critical of myself, not understanding why I did not follow through on the things I wanted to follow through on, being frustrated with seemingly not being able to create the change in the life areas that I wanted to create some change in, until I began understanding the mechanics of our identity configuration, of manifestation, conscious manifestation, but also manifestation by default. When we are living in our default state and creating from that, we are simply creating repetitions over repetitions of the same patterns, the same areas of stuckness, the same struggles and blocks that we've had for years and decades. And honestly, that gets old after a while. So if you seek a new perspective, then this video is it. So keep watching. There is exactly one thing that is important when it comes to fulfilling your desires and achieving your goals that you are setting for yourself instead of the old-fashioned New Year's resolutions. You know, the first and honestly most important principle that is so easy, you're possibly gonna say, yeah, come on, I'm gonna skip this part because it's so not important. It is important because most people get this wrong. The most basic thing most people struggle with. Okay, you ready? I'm gonna tell you right now. The most important thing is to keep your focus on what you want to be creating. That's it. But are you doing it? Because I didn't do it. Okay? Little confession. I thought I was doing it, but honestly, most of the time, in the areas where things did not work out, I was focused on what I didn't want. I was focused on the reason for why I wanted the change. Do you see? And that's a mechanism. That's a trap that many people fall into. They say they want B, but they want B because they want to get away from A. So they keep emitting the AAA frequency and then complaining about why they don't want A. So their focus is on A and absolutely not on B, on what they want to be creating, on that different expression. We are one field emitting one frequency. We are vibrating at different frequencies. And that is going to be either A, what you do not want anymore, the reason for it, why you want something else, don't want this, don't want this, don't want this, or it is what you want. Not in the sense, I want this, but in the sense, this is it. This is what's here. This is what's here. This is what I'm having. This is what I'm creating. Beep, 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 beep. Okay? Different frequency. In the present, one field, one energetic container that you are creating from, that you are emitting a frequency from, that you are receiving from. Giving and receiving is one cycle. You know, there's this beautiful quote. I love this quote by Rupert Spira, who's a non-duality teacher. And it's from his poem, I Am. The line is, I offer and contain in one gesture, like an open bowl. It contains so much of the mechanics and the laws of our existence, of how the universe works. The energetic container provides both the input and the output, the entire cycle. The energetic container hosts a frequency, one frequency. Either at any given moment of now, either the frequency of A, I do not want A anymore, this is why I want, or the frequency of B in the now. Okay? This is also the basic principle for why it is so important to not stay focused on what you want and what you desire that is out there, you know, that goal, that result that is somewhere out there in the future, but to be in the frequency of having it be real and having it be here now. One frequency, one energetic container. And the energetic container always creates in the now, and it is in any given moment either filled with A or with B, never with both at the same time. And whenever you are focused on what you do not want anymore, or, this is tricky, you might not even be consciously focused on what you don't want anymore, but the underlying unconscious programming might still be focused on what you don't want anymore, of what you are expecting, of what you are familiar with, because it's a pattern, it's a structure, it's a response pattern that's always been there, or an aspect of your identity that just cannot be any different because it's part of who you've always been. You know, so there are two layers of this. You might be consciously focused on what you don't want to be creating, or you might even be unconsciously focused on what you don't want to be creating without being consciously aware of that. And any expression in which you are either consciously or unconsciously focused on what you do not want any longer is keeping you away from what you want to be creating instead. Okay, this was a very short, very condensed explanation of why it is so utterly important to be focused on what you want to be creating, to be focused on the goal. Not out there in the awareness of not having it here because you only have one bowl, you only have one energetic container that you are filling with your expectations, with your beliefs, with your perception of reality as it is right here, right now. A or B, in here. Okay, this is so important. So again, please, instead of writing New Year's resolutions of what you want to be creating, find ways to pull what you want, the B, into your container. Find ways to have your energetic container that you are providing right now, the signals you are emitting right now, have that be in sync with the result you want to be creating, with a person you want to be, with a version of yourself that you want to be, with your potential actualized. That's the metaphysical, that's the energetic perspective to look at it, to look at the energetic container. We could also look at the same principle from the perspective of state. And we could say you're always in one dominant state, okay? Nervous system state, mental emotional state, belief system state, body awareness state. And from that perspective, you want to be looking at the relationship between the thing you want and the state you are in when you are focused on the thing you want. Because if you don't have it right now, then there has to be a mismatch somewhere. There has to be a gap. And it's your power to close that gap, but not in the way that many people think. And certainly not with New Year's resolutions. Achieving your goals and fulfilling your desires is not based on a reward system. It's not, I put out this one thing until the universe rewards me with what I want. No. You got one container, you got one energetic container. What is in there right now? What can that container host right now? What can that container provide access to right now for you inside the container? And what can it not currently provide access to? Because of the energetic mismatch between the container and the thing you want. Close the gap. Your responsibility, your potential, your freedom. your freedom. And becoming aware of your energetic container starts with awareness, starts with noticing which container am I providing right now in this moment. And then noticing also that we are not always providing the same container in any context, in any life area. We are not always emitting the same frequency, okay? But there are relationships, there are different relationships between what we want and the frequency we are in. So for example, your energetic container when it comes to your job, your career, your success might have a much higher and greater capacity to contain that success than the container you are in as soon as your focus shifts to love. Different relationship access. And maybe you're struggling in that area, random example, and the energetic container shifts. And notice that the energetic container's capacity always equals the reality you are manifesting. It always equals the 3D world before your eyes. It always equals your perception of how things actually are, because it lives within the container. And if you want a different experience, if you want to shift the relationship you have, I hope this is not irritating now. So I do not mean a love relationship, okay? I could have taken any other example. Love, health, okay? I mean the relationship between the I am, between the self-concept, self-image awareness of who I am, the ego perspective, and the concept, the life area that is hosted by your energetic container. So in this example, you want to be focusing on shifting the relationship between the energetic container and that one concept or life area, in this example, love. In order to explore the energetic container that you are providing in any given moment and for any given life area or context, you want to look at the person you know yourself to be in any of these relationships, to love, to health, to career, whatever. Who are you being in these different relationships? Because that is what is going to point you to the nature of your state, to the nature of the energetic container. You know, these are actually different layers, state, energetic container. I'm breaking this down right now to have it fit into this video with a focus of, New Year's focus and goals and desires. But there's a lot more to the story here, okay? So in very simple terms, this is one of the first steps that you can take in order to explore the energetic container, the state that you are providing in any given moment, in which what you want, your goal, either already fits and you are on your way already to make it happen, to actualize that, or in which a certain goal, a certain identity iteration, in which a certain desire does not fit, because the container might not have the capacity to hold that desire, that goal. So I want to invite you to create a list with all the things you want to focus on for this year, for 2026. And you might even call it New Year's resolutions if you want to. It's not even that important actually. Like the language is just a byproduct. Call it resolutions if you want to. Call it goals, call it desires. Or just call it the focus, the things you want to focus on. And then for any one of these things, I invite you to do a little reality check by checking the state you are in, the mental emotional state, by checking the belief systems associated with that one specific thing, by exploring the relationship between who you are and the thing that you want to focus on. Is that a nice focus? Is that an easy, a carefree focus? Or is that a focus with which effort, hustle, maybe even fear is associated? Exploring that relationship. Now, this is the transactional movement. After all, I made it. Exploring the frequency of the energetic container, one field in relation to any given thing. Exploring that relationship or that container is the basis for understanding how much the thing you want to focus on, the thing you want, the goal, the desire you're after, is already held by your identity configuration and by your energy system. How much of it is already present in the here and now? And I've said this in so many videos. I have stressed the importance of self-awareness over and over again. And I know it might sound so basic, but once you go through the process yourself, and maybe you're already in this process, good for you, you really understand, you embody that importance of self-awareness. Because whatever you pull out of the unconscious and make conscious, you gain power over, you gain agency over. Whatever you become aware of is another part of your life that you are the powerful creator of. You gain the agency of creation over every single thing that you make conscious, over any aspect in your conditioned, programmed default state that you become aware of. Because whatever you are aware of, you get to shift. You get to shift into a new state. You get to shift the container, the capacity and the form of the container. You get to shift the belief systems, the beliefs about your identity configuration, about who you are as a person, about what you're capable of creating and achieving, and what you do not currently feel capable of creating and achieving because of the old programming. Whatever you become aware of, you can create in a new way. And whatever you focus on that you can hold in your energetic container, that you can perceive and believe in with your dominant state in a positive way, from a place of ease and joy and bliss and eagerness and openness and curiosity, that is what's already in the process of appearing and gaining traction in your 3D reality. And whatever is not in sync with the state, is not at the same frequency, does not fit into the energetic container, it cannot come to you until the state, the container, the frequency shifts. And that is what I want to leave you with. A very long and deep and rich explanation for a simple principle. Please, this year, focus on what you want. So, again, I wish you a happy new year. I wish you so much fun and excitement and eagerness when you are writing that list, when you are focusing on the things that you want to be creating and experiencing this year. And I hope that this year is gonna be proof that you are the most powerful creator in your universe. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful week. Have a beautiful year. And I hope you stick around and we can create the most amazing year 2026 together.